Good morning, friends, and it is morning. It's bright and early on a Tuesday morning in January, the year of our Lord 2019. It's 7 AM and I have something nice today. I'll give you a quick glimpse. There you go. Bear that in mind. I say bear that in mind because you get even the LTD brand of guitars come in ESP cases, but this is proper ESP. That's why I have a case, and it is beautiful. And you'll know straight away when I turn it around that, oh, that's an Eclipse. Yes, it's an E-II, or the new improved ESPs. What a beautiful guitar this is, isn't it? An Eclipse, of course. Fantastic. What's it say on the back? Not a lot. It does say made in Japan. Designed and built by ESP. Fantastic. Inspected in the USA. Well, whoopee-doo. Right, so there you go. What a beautiful looking guitar. It's fantastic, isn't it? So, why is this then today? Well, it just wants to settle. And there's not that much wrong with it, to be honest with you. I have already set the neck and tuned it in. I've not checked the intonation yet. The intonation looks to be way off. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give this a once over this morning. What a beautiful thing. I love this colour scheme, like a golden colour. Or a dark orange or a dark yellow with gold and matte black finish. Is it a matte black? Yeah, it is matte black. The neck, got that nice little bit of shine on there. Nice and smooth neck, beautiful to play up and down. And the paint, the binding is painted, you could tell, because even the nut here on this edge is yellow. So if it came to replacing that nut, that would be a bit of a nightmare. I wouldn't fancy doing that too much because you're going to have got chances of chipping the paintwork on there. But rest of it, beautiful. Nice gold, satin gold covered pickup covers on there, absolutely beautiful. So, what can I tell you? It looks pretty straightforward, doesn't it? It looks like it just needs a setup. The electrics all work. I've had it plugged in. It sounds fantastic. I say it sounds fantastic. Obviously, for the genre it is built for. It's not something I'll be playing jazz on or clean stuff. But definitely a hard, very hard rock or a heavy metal guitar. Sounds fantastic. But is it a one-trick pony? I wouldn't say it's a one-trick pony, but it is aimed at the heavy metal player, or at least the hard rock player, I would imagine. No push-pull, not with active EMGs. One of the pots is a bit loose and is a bit sticky there. Oh, it's just dropped off, look. So I'll have to sort that out. That's just a problem with the pot itself. With spline, I need to just flare it out a little bit so it holds better. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the setup with the old strings on. I'm going to check the frets for level. If the frets are level, I will be removing the strings because I do want to treat the ebony fingerboard and I do want to polish the frets, but it should be pretty straightforward on this. Hopefully there will be no high frets and I won't have to funny about doing a fret level. So let's see how we are in a few minutes. I'll come back and give you a little update. 40 minutes I've spent with this guitar and the setup is done and it is bang on. I haven't even had to cut the nut slots. It's almost like I'm getting free money for doing this. All I've really done is checked a couple of things over, or checked everything over. I have had to set the intonation on a couple of strings. I have had to reset the neck and I've set the action and the string height. I've not had to cut any nut slots or anything. The nut slots are fine. The main thing I've done on this is to reset the neck because there's too much relief in there, and it's a two-way truss rod and it was actually tightened up the opposite way to what you normally would tighten up. So I brought it through the neutral area and tightened it the other way, and I've got a relief of just under the 9th fret there. We have a relief of about 1/4 millimeter. The guitar plays fantastic. I had to alter the bridge slightly as well, and I've affixed the knob that was falling off, the second tone knob, or the one nearest the strap pin on the body end, was off, and that needed just flaring out and just tightening up a little bit. So I've done that. So the setup is done, and the guitar, one little criticism, we are right at the edge of the bridge, of the saddles for intonation. That intonation is set exactly right for a drop C sharp tuning or a drop D flat tuning. It's not D, it's not, it's C sharp, isn't it? Yeah, drop D flat tuning. And look, we're right, these saddles are right up this end, we can't move them anymore. We don't need to move them anymore. It's actually fine, but this bridge might have been a little bit better, just come in a couple of millimetres this way. But that said, what a wonderful guitar. And let me tell you, out of the box, these come with a great setup out of the box. It shows the ESP kit and they set their guitars up at the factory properly. I don't know if this was set up at the factory properly or it came, or the shop where this was bought from set it up. I've no idea. But I would imagine this comes from a factory pretty well set up. So all I really need to do now is, well I've got to remove the strings now. Now I have a setup done. I'm not putting another set of strings on there. These are new strings anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the strings. I'm going to go across with a fret rocker. Well, once I've leveled and straightened the neck, shall I say, I'm going to go across with a fret rocker and see if the frets are okay. If it gets to where I need to level a couple, then I will level a couple. But I love jobs like this. If it doesn't need any fret leveling, what a fantastic job this is, you know. And this is how we'd like all the jobs to come in. You know, don't need too much work, and we can get them in, get them out. We can be happy with what we've done, and it's not too stressful. Say for instance, I do a standard player. I say standard. My standards are quite high. In fact, my standards are very high. A standard setup with me, or what I call a player setup, will cost you £50. And you normally give 90 minutes for something like that, and that's a pretty good wage. But when you get them like this, where we don't really need a lot, you know, it's fantastic. But then when you get something in that needs an intensive setup, maybe 4 or 5 frets leveling, the electric's doing 75 quid. It's going to take you an hour longer than that. That's pretty good. But when you get to needing a complete fret level with a setup, I charge £100 for that, but that puts 3 hours on the job. So for that extra 25 quid, you're doing an extra 2.5 hours work. So I would much rather them all come in like this, just needing a setup and a string change. It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? But that is not the nature of the beast. When guitars come to me, they get what they need. It's not about cost for me, they just get what they need. Ideally, I would love them all coming in, having just a setup. You know, because they're in and out, it's quick, it's good money, and you get a lot of satisfaction from it. I don't get many regular setups, to be honest with you. In fact, if this doesn't need fretwork, this will be the first player setup I've done in months. So it just shows most guitars I get in are a fret level. I would say 60% of guitars I get coming in here are at least a fret level. So, you know, so I earn my wages. But yeah, what a beautiful guitar this is. So I'm now going to get the strings off. We'll set the neck absolutely straight, and we'll go across with a fret rocker. And if Lord is on our side, or if luck is on our side, whichever way you want to look at it, we won't need to touch any frets. We'll just give them a polish, we'll treat the fingerboard, we'll get the strings back on, we'll set it up again, and something else I've got to do, I've got to set the pickup heights. 2-minute job, no problem. So stay tuned, and I'll be back with an update shortly. Okay, so regarding the frets, it is not good news. And how remarkable that such an easy setup. Then you go and remove the string. I've had to remove the strings completely because this guitar needs a fret level, and I'm astonished that something so classy and expensive and supposed to be so fantastic has 8 or 9 high spots or high frets. And there's only one way to get rid of those, and that is to level the lot. I can't just do the 9, because out of those 9, once I remove material from those 9, the ones next to them are going to be affected. And then I may be actually doing the whole lot by hand, and you can't do it all by hand. There's only one way to level frets, and that is to use a leveling beam and flatten them all in one go. Once you get more than 5, but say for instance, I've explained this many times before, I'll explain it again. Say for instance this fret is high in the middle, and I remove material from that centre there, it's going to affect these 2 frets next to it either side, or in relation to that one. If I remove material from there, and get that level with those 2, because that's gone lower, this one could then become high, going across this 3, because that's gone lower, so that could then be rocking. So the dilemma always is, once you get 3 or 4, once you get past 3 or 4, you've got to do the whole lot. And the thing is, we're doing the whole lot, it means, okay, I may only be leveling 8 or 9, but I've got to re-crown the whole lot, because when I level them, we're going to have flat spots we're going to flatten out slightly, and I'm going to need to recrown them, and that is going to take a lot of time, and it does take a lot of time. Once they've been recrowned, they've got to be polished also. That puts another 2.5 hours on the whole job, even 3 or 4 hours in some cases. So I have no choice but to level all of the frets and recrown them. I'm going to come back in a second because the garbage truck is outside. Okay, so the garbage truck, or the refuse collection service, have gone. Right, okay, so let's see where we are. I've altered the truss rod and straightened the neck. Not really needed straightening that much. All being well, you can see, I'm going to shine the light behind that just to show that we have the guitar level. And you don't always get them perfectly straight. Normally you're going to have a little bit of roll off here, so the straight edge may not be right flat on these last few frets, because we do roll off and the frets get gradually lower as we go towards this end from about fret 15. This end is all level. We're level all across, so I'm happy that we have the neck straight. And we're going to go across with a fret rocker. 4 lengths. So we can do 3 frets at a time, because we do 4 at a time, we won't know where we are, but we do 3 at a time. If we do get a rock anywhere, we know the middle fret is high in that spot. And I do 3 areas. I do the centre, I do the far side and the near side as I look at it. So what I do is when I get a high spot, I'll mark it off with a pen so I know where I need to level. And you are listening for a rock. Middle, far side's good. Middle is rocking, near side is rocking. It means this fret is high in relationship to these two. We'll mark off where it's high from the centre, far side of the centre to the near side. And we're going to do this with all of the frets. Now, this piece of equipment here, not straight edge, this is a precision one. This cost me 14 quid. It's not your £5 tat off eBay. This one is milled flat, it's laser cut, it's precision level. So this is my go-to. Near side, centre's okay, far side's okay. That's 3 spots on 2 frets so far. Because we have a centre and the near side and the near side. And you'll find that a lot of them are all down this near side. I'm always surprised. It's really high when you pay and there and towards the centre. The centre's okay. You pay nearly 2,000. Is 2,000 quid these guitars? I don't know what they cost, but you need frets leveling, and it's not just these. I have it with heritage guitars. I have it with Fenders and Gibsons, and even, you know, the worst ones I've ever had are heritage guitars. But there you go, another one, this edge up to about 1 centimetre inside. About 15 millimetres of height on that edge there. So already we have 1, 2, 3, 4 frets with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. And it always amazes me that you have to do this. Fret 11 in the middle. So about 20 mil, middle and far side. Fret 12 near side. See how far in we're going to go. Normally, where it starts on one, it'll finish on another and start at that end. And in this case, it is. It's all that fret there. Then it's a bit this fret from this part here. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets with high spots, and we're up to fret 12. High spot just right on the edge there. The thing for me on this is this puts another 3 hours on the job for me, and all I'm going for it is, well, it would have been a 50 quid setup, it's now going to be a £100 fret level, so for that extra 50 quid I've got another 3 hours work, which isn't bad, it's not a bad wage, but I'd sooner be doing a 50 quid setup in an hour off. Fret 16, 4 sides, so I do believe that's 7 frets we've got now. And what I'm going to do is, once I've checked all these, I do check them off camera first, but not always. I might just set the if I alter the truss rod, I'll just go across. I don't like to mark them off camera. I like to come and mark them off when you're here, because you can see that I'm not cheating. Or I'm not trying to make myself more money. Why would I do that? I'd much sooner get these done in an hour off. Far side. Fret 19. Now my dilemma is the nut, because to do a proper fret level, you can do it with the nut on. Tiny bit on this here. You can do it with the nut on, but it's much easier to do it with the nut removed. The thing is with this, because it's all painted over the edge of a nut and all sealed in, if I knock this nut out, it's going to crack all this paint. So I'm going to leave the nut in, and I'm going to be very careful. Luckily, or fortunately, these 2 frets are fine, frets 1 and 2, so I only need to level up to here. My leveling beam only needs to come up to here, so what I'll do is I will basically tape a block just in front of that nut, so my file cannot hit the nut. In fact, I'll build a little ramp here from inside this fret, and if I do scoot across with the fret leveler, it's going to go up and over the nut, it's not going to knock it off. Anyway, check this one again. There you go, and the last one. Now the last one doesn't really matter, even though it's high across its whole width. The reason it doesn't matter is you're only playing that note there. It doesn't matter how low that is, that could even be lower than that, but it is high all the way across. So let's count the frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 frets with high spots, and the high spot, I'm going to count the high spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 16 high spots over 11 frets. And the only way we're going to level these is with, again, a purpose-made leveling beam. This is 16-inch box section steel, 2-inch by 1-inch. Both edges, the top and the bottom, were milled perfectly flat. Very expensive. This is quite expensive. This piece of steel cost me 30 quid. And what I do is I have affixed to one side 240 grit sandpaper, which I use a 240 grit to do the leveling, and on the other side I have 400 grit. Once I've leveled with the 240 grit, I'll go across with the 400 grit just to remove any of the deep scratches, because this will scratch more 240 grit than 400. 400 will smooth it off. And what we'll do is, once we have them level, we'll pen all of the frets, we'll remove all of the pen with the 400 grit side. Once it's removed, we know we'll have them quite smooth, and they will be absolutely level, and we can move on to the recrowning. It just makes it easier using a finer grit like a 400. It means it's easier to get all the scratches out later. If we left 240 grit, we'd be polishing for hours and hours. I will explain more about that when we get to it, but what I'm going to do now is, just for the camera's sake and just for my reputation's sake, all the areas I've marked off, I'm going to go across again with the fret rocker just to show that we are being straight. And there you go. I don't know if you can see all the black pen on there. Hopefully you can. I'm going to try and get the guitar back to more or less where it was. I can do that by keeping my finger there and using my finger as a marker, because I normally have my fingers equally from the end. So there you go. So that's where we are. So let's do it. Yeah, that's our one. That one. That one. And I'll just scoot it across. just to show that I'm not adding things on. Not that I have to prove myself. I've had people in the past saying, oh, why don't you show us? Like I'm not to be trusted. Only slight on that one, here you go. And there you go, 11 high frets. I'm going to send this part of the video to the owner of the guitar, let him know that it does need a fret level. Once he has okayed the work, which he will do, I've done 3 or 4 of his 5 of his guitars already. Once he's okayed the work, I will crack on with it, but I'm not going to do it today because I do have a refret to do today, and my starting time for this refret was going to be 8:30, 9 o'clock anyway. So this is going to be put on hold until I've spoken to the owner. Once he has okayed the work, we'll get all the bits off the guitar, we'll get everything taped up, and we'll commence with the fret level. Stay tuned, guys. I've got to come back to this fret level a little bit quicker than I imagined, because on the refret on the other job I've got to clamp it, so I've got an hour or two, so I thought I'd come over and I'd level the frets, and I've levelled the frets, and I'm just going to bring you in a little bit closer, and you should see all the, let's see if I can show you there. If I just tilt up slightly, you'll see all of the filings on the top of the fretboard there, and I'm just going to brush them off, because I actually went across with my flat file, because some of the frets were a little bit stubborn, quite a bit of material wanted removing. So, if I can find that flat file, and it's here, this is my best file. It's super sharp, it's a perfectly flat edge there, super smooth. It's a Swiss made number 4 cut. It's made by Valorbe, who you may know as, is it Glardon or something like that? Anyway, have a look, see if you can zoom in and find out. It's a Valorbe file, it's got a perfectly flat side, and I tend to use this to just skim across all of the frets and remove the high points, or the high areas. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark up these frets. I'm going to level it. See how I built up a bridge here? So if I skimmed across and went across with the levelling beam, it didn't knock the nut off, it slid up there and over the top. But what I'm going to do is now I have these level, to just smooth them off with 400 grit paper, and all I'm going to do is just scoot across with a pen, mark the tops of all of the frets, and all being well, if I have these properly levelled, when I go across I just need a few strokes of a levelling beam on the 400 grit, and it should remove all of this pen, and if it has, we can then ascertain that all of the frets are level. Now the last one, it won't remove the pen because the last one is lower than that one. A lot of companies put the last fret in lower because it makes no difference about the height of that one as long as it is lower than the one preceding it. So anyway, here we go. It's just a matter of just following the radius, and we're doing great here. I can already see that all the pen's going. And we're just following the radius, we're not following the contour of the neck, we're just keeping this straight. What I like to do is I like to turn it around and go the opposite way. And there you go, all of the frets on our silver on the top. It means the frets are all level, and what I like to do to finish off, I can't do it right now, but what I would like to do to finish off with the 12-inch radius block is just go over with a flat piece of 400 grit. Oh, I can do it because I've got a short one. Just to make sure that we have maintained that radius, and I will take a piece of paper, 12-inch radius block, and it's just, we'll just go across like so, just a couple of strokes, just to make sure that we've maintained that beautiful radius. I will do that off camera in a minute because I already have some paper on this one and it's not the right grit, so I will do this properly in a very short while. But now we have all of the frets level with each other. I can prove it by going across with the fret rocker, which I've already done off camera. There are no high spots anywhere, so I'm now ready to get this all taped up, and we are going to recrown the frets. By recrown I mean where we now flatten them, we're going to put that crown back in. I will do it with a 3-cornered file. I know these are level because I've already checked, but what I'll do is I'll come back again shortly and I'll show you exactly where we are. So I'm going to clean up this fingerboard. We'll give it a spray with some naphtha. We'll get all those remnants of that dust off there. I'll just get this removed. And then we'll get it all taped up. And there you go. And we have not damaged the nut in any way. And we can just bin this little protector there. That's worked an absolute treat. How good is that? So, these frets are now ready for crowning and polishing. Back soon. With the radius, 12-inch radius block all cleaned up, I'm going to go with the 400 grit sandpaper again. And just a few light strokes. What we're going to do is we're going to get it fixed in place. And it's just, we've got pen all over the frets, and all we're going to do is just a few strokes, and that always happens, it grips really quite well. But there you go, and that is it, all in one direction, and that is all of the pen removed just with a few strokes. So we are now ready to re-crown the frets. That is all done. I'm happy that they're level. I can check again that the fingerboard, or the neck itself, is straight, which it is because it's not moved. Absolutely brilliant. We've done with the beam, we've done with all the sandpaper. The beam can go back in the box. And now we're going to move on to working the frets. Just brush all this stuff off. Fantastic. So now I can bring the guitar closer to the camera. I don't need the whole neck in view anymore, and I'm just going to show you how I crown the frets, and I'm just going to show you a couple. And what I will be doing is I'll be taping up the whole fingerboard, but I'm going to show you, for now I'm going to show you one. I'm going to show you this one. And now we know that the frets are level, all we need to do is crown them, and we're going to build up that arc going this way across the fret because it's flat at the moment, and we're going to build up that crown. So again, we will take the marker pen, draw a line across the top, and what I'm looking for is the point of contact between the string going this way and the top of the fret. I want to be about 1/3 of a millimetre. Not much less than that, but certainly not much more either. Now I do have a number of files I can use to do this, but my favourite is my new Tone Tech one. It's a very fine cut, it's about a number 3 cut. It has 3 edges, but each corner is ground perfectly smooth. So it means when I file over here, I'm not going to cut into the fingerboard. I still tape up anyway, but I'm not going to cut into the fingerboard. And what we always do is we always clean the file, which I've just done. And what I'm going to do is, as I file across on the far side of the fret, I'm going to angle it towards the camera ever so slightly on each successive stroke until I start building up that arc on the edge. And when I come to do this side, I'll do the same again, but I'll arc it away from the camera. So that goes kind of like this. That's vertical at the moment. I'm just going to start now arcing it toward the camera. And I can do single strokes like so, and I'm just going to bring it toward the camera, and we're already building that arc. I'm going to go far side, same again, nice smooth strokes. Now I'm going to start arcing the file away from the camera ever so slightly, and I don't know if you can see that, but we now have just a thin line of black pen on the top of this fret, and if you can't see it, I'm just going to angle it toward you just a little bit, and you should be able to see it just there. And that line is about 1/3 of a millimetre. And once that's done, I'm going to brush away little bits of filings we've got there, and I'm going to finish off with a profiling file, but it's already cut to the arc, and all I need to do is, this is just to remove burrs and to round off these edges, and it's just going to be, and just to remove any burrs there, and that is it. Again, clean up the area, and what we're going to do is, we have now recrowned that whole fret. It's a little bit jagged, it does need polishing again yet. We'll get around to that soon. All I need to do now is check that I've got no rock anywhere, tiny bit on that corner anyway. We're going to do the same with this one. I'm going to do one more while I'm here. I'm not going to put tape on this, I should do by rights, but I'm not going to, because I know my hand is steady enough not to mark the fingerboard. Angling toward the camera. Try not to slip too much, you don't want to put any dings anywhere. Now we're on this side. Very good. With the profiling file again. Check again. No rock anywhere now. We go one back as well just to make sure there's no rock. So that's great. It means we've not removed any height, we've just recrowned those two frets. I have many more to do. What is this? 17, 19, 20. So 22 fret affair. I have 20 more to do. So I'm going to crack on, get there now. We're taping up the whole fingerboard, doing it the right way. You'll see that when I come back and polish the frets. So come back for that. Here's a new camera angle for you, and I thought I would give you a little treat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a few of these frets, and I'm going to let you watch. And I'm probably not going to talk while I'm doing it. I'm just going to crack on with it and work at my normal pace, and you can more or less see how it goes. Now, for instance, just to explain this little bit here, I have tape all over this end of the guitar. It's Scotch 3M low tack masking tape, and the reason I have it is I'm going to be using a file of these frets to recrown them. We're going to leave a thin black line down the centre of each fret, and we're going to recrown them. We're going to finish off using a crowning file, and basically where I flatten the frets after levelling them, I'll get my hand right like that, I'm going to put that crown back in this way, give them that semi-circular shape. So I'm going to be using my 3H file, and the reason I've got it all taped up is I'm going to be angling this down towards the body, you see, and I don't want to be scraping into the body. So, and this really is how I do it. So I'm just going to work, and you can watch and get an idea. And normally when I'm doing these end ones, I'll either turn the guitar around and work from this end, which I'm going to do anyway in a bit, or I'll come over and I'll work from this side. Now this side is quite difficult to do, so I'd normally turn the guitar around 180 degrees, but just for argument's sake today, always cleaning the work area, always making sure the file's clean. And profiling all of the frets. And what I do, once I've done a couple like I've done, is I'll check that we're level, and I'll check the next ones along, make sure we're still level. Because we're not removing anything off the top of the frets, we're just removing the edges to recrown. So we'll not be losing any height, and if the frets are all level, as they are, I've checked, we're just going to get a beautiful crown on there, all the frets are going to be level, we can move on later to the polishing. Again, clean the file. Normally I'll have some music on in the background, but for copyright purposes I'm not bothering just for this part of the video because I have had a copyright issue once before. Basically because you can't play that music in the background if you're doing your own videos. So I don't do it anymore on my videos. You should be able to see where you are. There's just a thin line right down the centre of the fret, and that's creating an area of minimal contact between the string and the fret. So I'm going to crack on with this, get all of the rest done. You'll notice I do go over to the other side just to finish off this deburring process. I'll just turn it round and go this way. And there you go, I already have 4 done. Going to get the rest done. I hope that was enjoyable for you. I'll come back later when we'll move on to the polishing. We've now moved along and we're now away from this tricky area because there's no body in the way. We're on this fret now, so this makes the job a lot easier. And it means we can do it quicker and we can do it without fear of digging into the body. Now you'll notice with this tape everywhere, I've not digged into the body anyway, which is always a good thing. But it gets even easier from this point onwards because we're now on these frets and we're working his way down towards the neck. And here, we haven't got to worry about digging the body because we can't, because we're away from it. So this makes the job a lot easier. You'll now notice I'm going to start bending the file over while I'm on this far side. I'll bend it over and I'm going to start creating that lovely crown shape. And once we've removed a bit of material, we'll just go nice, smooth strokes. Move to the other side, same again. And of course I'm now going to start angling the file the opposite way. Until we've got a nice thin line down the centre, like so. Wipe clean, blow, back with the profiling file, edges first, and just get over in, just deburr it. Once done, wipe the file again, go across with the fret rocker, check each side that we've maintained the level, which we have. Absolutely beautiful. I can now work my way across to the far side. Same procedure again. Wipe. Moderately firm pressure to stop us slipping over the fret. Fingers to steady the file as we finish off crowning. This side, same again, steadying the file with these few fingers. Clean, blow, finish off, clean, clean, deburr. And that is as difficult as it gets. Again, clean, check for level, fantastic, check one back and one forwards, still maintaining that level, move on to the next one. It really is that easy. We're starting to lose the light a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay, so I'm going to explain how we polish the frets, or how I polish the frets. And first, I get the guitar set. It's not clamped in the vise, it was just on top of a vise with nice thick padding in there, so it can hold the neck, it's not going to move anywhere. We've got it supported from underneath on this side, so and what we're going to do is I'm going to polish the frets. What I'll do, I'm going to polish the frets with 5 different grits of sandpaper, which I have here. Going through the grits, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500 and 2000 grits. And I will be polishing across this way, but what I do first is I'm going to round off these edges with 600 grit paper. So again, the most coarse grit of the lot. And what I'll do is I'll take the paper and I'll just roll the edges. Just going to roll the edges, the beveled edges right on this side there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper and we're just going to roll and sand that way. Just to round them off a little bit. Remove any burrs. We'll talk about any burrs on there because I've deburred them using the deburring and profiling file. But here we go. And once we get to a free area like this, we can just really round them over really nice. Remove any sharpness there. And just using the 600 grit. And when I get to where the guitar is, this is another good reason why we tape it all up, because we can just go over. And again, you'll notice I've only used half of the paper so far. So I'll turn it around and I'll go again with this side. We're just rounding over these beveled edges here. And there you go. I'm just going to round over. They're already quite smooth anyway. This is just to give them that little bit of extra round over, remove any burrs we may have missed. And that's it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the sandpaper again and we're going to roll it, and we're just going to go across these frets the wrong way. And I'm going to explain why I go the wrong way in a second. Because what this is going to do is it's going to put scratches in these frets the wrong way. And it's going to slightly round over. I'll explain why I'm putting wrong way scratches in there. And this is beautiful. And there's a method to what you may think is madness right here, right now. And again, I'm going to come back and we're just going to go edge these again. Same here. And now what I've done is clean it up. Use a brush. And what we've done is we've rounded over these bevels at the edge so they're really, really smooth. That's beautiful. And what we've done is we've filed or sanded this way, across this way. And what I've done is put tiny scratches across the frets. And what we're going to do is with the, I'm going to start off with a 600 grit. And what we're going to do is we're now only going to polish this way, backwards and forwards with all 6 grits of paper. And we're going to progressively remove these scratches. It's not about, polishing frets is not about getting them shiner, even though it is, it's also about removing all scratches. So doing this, we've got to have no choice but to remove all of the scratches. So I'm going to crack on with this now. I've got 22 frets times 6 grits of paper, plus I'll finish off with some steel wool. So we've got 7 times 22, which I think you'll find is 154. So I, in effect, have 154 frets to polish. Wow, that's going to take some doing, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to crack on with this. And once I've finished, I will come back and show you the results. Oh, very nice. I might be enjoying it now. I won't be when I've got up to about 100. I think I've had enough of this. Getting right on my wick now. But there you go, and we're polishing that way all the frets with 6 different grits of paper. We'll remove all of the scratches. We'll get these to a beautiful scratchless shine. The frets will be level, they'll be like glass, and the neck will look amazing. We're right at the business end now of fret polishing. I've gone through with 6 different grits of sandpaper. I think you'll agree that that's all pretty much spent. I'm going to finish off with steel wool. And this is where we really get that final shine. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up the outside of the bevels. And then we're just going to get right into the frets. And this is what really brings them out to a shine. This is the finest grade steel wool. It's quadruple 0 gauge. It's super fine. And it really brings the shine out of these frets. They're polished beautifully. Got all the scratches out, and they're going to look fantastic once we've finished off with this. This piece may be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to break some more off and roll in a minute, but wow, that just looks fantastic. Where is my magnifying glass? Here it is. Let me just have a look. Oh, they look absolutely beautiful. I've only done the first two, but they look fantastic. You'll get more of an idea tomorrow. I'm just losing my light now, so you'll get more of an idea tomorrow. So I'll come back in the morning, I'll show you with the tape off and how they're polished up. It's well worth the wait. Come back. Rather than wait for the morning light, I've stuck a mega bulb in there. I bought some 200 watt bulbs the other week, and they give great light. It's fantastic for filming at night especially. But the thing is, I've had 4 blow in 2 weeks, and I paid 15 quid for 10 bulbs. So I'm trying to get the money back on eBay, and they want me to send them back and me pay for it. I said I'm not doing that. So I stuck one in there. Probably it could blow at any time. I've had one. I just put one in 10 minutes ago before this one. I turned it on. Went for about 5 seconds and it just went and just went just like that. So let's hope it goes a little bit longer. But anyway, I wanted to show you, I've just peeled off the tape off the fingerboard, and there are the frets. And don't they look fantastic? They look absolutely stunning. If you want to pause, I'll just move this neck rest out of the way. If you want to pause and zoom in, feel free to do so right now. They look fantastic, really, really beautiful. So it's had a complete fret level, recrown and polish. A lot of work goes into that. You've seen how much work's gone into it. So what I can do now is I can put the strings back on. We can get this guitar set up. Obviously I'm going to remove all this tape. We'll get the guitar set up and it will be ready to go out. So without further ado, I shall crack on with that, crack on with the setup, and I'll come back. Could be later, but I will come back when the guitar is all done and show you the results. This can be a little bit of a dilemma sometimes. I wouldn't normally put old strings back on a guitar when I've worked on it, but these are not old strings. These strings were installed just before the guitar came to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put the old strings on and stop and make sure we don't snap at this end. Now the reason why I say I think it might snap at that end is these are a Goto lock-in tuner, or they are not a Goto, that's not a name. The brand is Goto, a Japanese guitar parts builder or whatever. And they're great tuners, but the thing is, these have already been locked and clamped. These strings, you'll see flat parts on there. Now normally, if you reuse them, they will snap where they've been previously clamped. Let's make sure I've got the right ones on there. I'm not convinced that's the right string. They will snap where they were previously clamped, unless you wind them right. And there is a way, there is a bit of a way we can get these to work, but I don't necessarily like reusing strings regardless. But in this case, because the strings are brand new, I'm going to. So we need to be slightly fortunate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show these tuners, by the way, they are a specialist kind of tuner. They are not the easiest. What we do is, what we need to do is, before we install the strings, I'll screw these right down, but to get the strings in I've got to screw this back and make it so the hole is wide enough to accept the string. And you need to give it a few winds here and there. But there you go, we are through. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to tighten, and once we get to a certain amount of tightness it'll start spinning this collar. And once this collar starts spinning, because what this is doing is screwing a thread up to underneath there to clamp the string, and once it's clamped enough it will start turning and tuning. Make sure I'm going the right way. It can take a while, as this is. Is it pinching yet? It doesn't look like it, does it? It'll get there. Here you go, it's just getting there. So what I need to do now is I just need to hold that in, and I'm going to take a screwdriver now and just let this tighten itself up. And once it gets really tight I can let go of a screwdriver because it will be well enough clamped. And that is well enough clamped. So now I can start to turn the tuner. And once we get to half a turn we should be okay and it should not snap. There's a critical area for us to get beyond, and I think we are just passing it now. Now I do have a set of 1149s in stock if I do need to replace any. The owner of his guitar has already said, look, if you do snap, just replace him and I'll replace the strings, or I'll pay you for the strings. So pretty good. Again, on to the next one. And like I say, this has already been clamped. I wouldn't normally like to use these again, but I'm going to in this case. Now, where's the hole for that? A couple of 3 turns should be enough. There you go. I'm going to clamp this away. The dilemma with this is I'm not using a piece of this that's been pre-clamped, so I might be alright, but we'd like to get at least half a turn before it starts pulling tight. Otherwise it does tend to snap. Okay. Again, there are better looking tuners than these. These are okay. There are better ones. Am I a fan of locking tuners? Listen, they're alright, aren't they? But are they really necessary? I don't think they are really necessary, to be honest with you. Tuner's a tuner. You put 2 or 3 turns, 4 or 5 turns around a tuner, it ain't going to slip. It's not going to go out of tune. That's my 2 cents worth. Bit of buzz there. That bit of buzz is because we're not tuned to pitch yet, so we haven't got any relief in the neck. So I'm not going to worry about that just now. Now what I'm doing is, now I've got these 3 strings on, I'm just going to nip these up just a little. There you go. Now tuning I'm looking for is drop C sharp, so let's see where we are. It's not even picking that up. And that's a drop C sharp or a drop D flat. It's ringing because I've not got the bridge set high enough, so we've got the strings too close to the frets and we haven't set a relief yet. So I'm going to crack on, I'm going to get the rest of them on, and we can move on to the final setup after we've got the strings on, can't we? Welcome back, fret friends, and here is the guitar all finished, and wow, what an amazing guitar. I'm sat back here because I'm going to plug it in a minute. I'm just going to let you hear a little bit of it. I'm going to play some chords and a couple of tunes, but wow, what a fantastic guitar. It plays and sounds amazing, and it looks amazing. Look at it with those gold pickups and everything. So I know I've got it all back together. To recap the story with this one, I'm sure it's a £2,000 guitar. It may not be that much, I'm not sure, but it needed a fret level. And new guitar shouldn't need a fret level. This is, it's got an ES15 serial number, blah 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 blah, and it's a great spec guitar, but it should not need fret leveling, but it has needed fret leveling, and it's been fret leveled. Now I hope you've enjoyed that video. Really enjoyed doing the frets on this. They look absolutely fantastic. This is how they should come out of the shop. I won't say factory, I'll say shop, because these should be handmade and custom made. But end of the day, it's still a fantastic guitar. Got all bits I like. Gold hardware, nice gold binding, or a dark orange binding, dark yellow binding. All gold hardware. I never used to like gold hardware, but I really like it at the moment. You will have all Goto hardware, Goto locking tuners, Goto bridge, Goto tailpiece. Pots I imagine in there, you'll have some really good pots, maybe some Japanese ones, I don't know. Switch should be a Switchcraft, not sure. But this has had everything. It's had a complete setup. It's had a fret level, and without further ado, I'm just going to turn up the volume now. I'm playing through a Fender Super Champ X2 combo, all valve combo. I think it's 10 watt, could be 15, I'm not sure. I'm on the gain channel. If you must know the channel number, it's channel 14. Gain is set on 7. Bass and treble are both set at 6. And I'm using, this is a modded SD1. This has got the Keeley, has it got the Keeley mod? Yeah, it's got the Keeley mod, the 5-star mod. But I'm playing through an unmodded SD1, using it just as a clean boost. I have gain set at around about 8 o'clock. The tone is set right in the middle, and the level is set quite high, about 2 o'clock. I love these pedals. I actually prefer the stock one better than I like this modded one. This modded one's cost me 100 quid. What's that saying? But anyway, just going to play a couple of tunes. I'm going to put the overdrive on, so I'm going to get a bit of noise. Tuning, by the way, we are a drop C sharp, so basically, or drop D flat, whichever way you want to look at it. Sounds wonderful. One thing I should do is I should check the tuning, shouldn't I? Because that is not in tune. Just give me a second. Very unprofessional, but you know, needs must. Oh, that was a bit flat. I do apologise for that. I'm not going to cut it out, I'm going to leave it all in. Sounds really, really good. Sounds as heavy as anything. Sounds beautiful. you really do get the idea. That is a wonderful sounding guitar. I'm just going to turn off the amp. Well, I'm not. I'm going to just unplug the guitar. So here we go. ESP E-II Eclipse, Les Paul type affair, EMG active pickups, all Goto hardware, made in Japan, beautiful looking thing. I think if I had an ESP, it'd probably be one of these. Absolutely wonderful sounding guitar. But anyway, there we go. It's had a complete setup, it's had a complete fret level and polish. It looks brilliant, it sounds brilliant, and I'm sure the owner is going to be really, really happy. If you think that Eclipse logo, by the way, on the truss rod cover looks a bit dodgy, that's because it's still got the plastic wrap over there. So it's not a copy. I thought that doesn't look right. It's because it's still got the plastic on there. So this is me, Victor Christian, your fret friend, signing off until the next time. It's been a great project. Check me out at facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I'm Victor Christian, signing off. So until next time, boys and girls, God bless you. Be good to each other, and I will see you soon.